Thank you very much for those kind words. This is a huge honor for me because I don't think of myself in that way. And for somebody, to do things like this, it's just a huge honor for me. And I want you to know that. I don't take this lightly. I took it very seriously. I actually typed out a whole outline. I thought by talking about how I grew up first and what kind of impact God had in my life I'd start with is that, my topic is I've never walked alone. And what I mean by that is I've either had people or influence around me in certain situations in life that you wouldn't recognize unless you had a relationship with God. I grew up in McQuaid. We were a very poor family, but we didn't know we were poor. Kids didn't. I attended a church in the city called Mount Carmel. No longer are you able to attend Mount Carmel. It's on Weld Street in the city. It's not a very nice area. But came from a very family-orientated community church, Catholic church. It was one of those churches like after Mass, everybody went downstairs, had coffee, cookies, talked about what was going on that week, stuff like that. I'm very grateful for a lot of people in my life, and I think I wanted to start out with that. I have like James said, I have two daughters, Nicole and Brittany. Nicole works out in California. Brittany works here in Rochester. My wife and I have been together for 30 years. To this point, I have no clue what she's doing with me. In the football world, we say, I outkicked my coverage. Only Nick Wood would understand that. It's kind of funny, funny story. We were going to the state game last year and pull up to the Carrier Dome and Stacy, and I said, Jesus, Stace, did you ever think in your wildest dreams, all these years of coaching, we're finally here, we're at the state game. What do you think in your wildest dreams? Did you ever think we'd be here? She goes, honey, you're not in my wildest dreams. But that's actually a joke I got from somebody else. My daughters were very important in my life, and that was because of my upbringing. I kept waiting for that football player to come out. Instead, I got cheerleaders. But I was affectionately known as Psycho Cheer Dad because I learned that family and God was important. Whatever my kids were immersed in, I immersed myself in. Hence, when the girls won a sectional championship in cheerleading, I ran on the mat and was celebrating with them until they came and said, you got to get out of here. Talking about why I've never walked alone, I thought I'd talk about some situations. In 1975, I was 15 years old. I had gotten brought up to the varsity as a sophomore because of injury. And my dad was so ecstatic. And the next day, we played in a game. And my dad actually got sick during the game. He had a weak heart. Ended up, not to bring this down, but he ended up passing away. I had so many people around me, comforting me, helping me. Immediately, I was overwhelmed. And where did most of that come from? My church community, my family, the stuff most important to me. I was never alone during that time period. You have to understand, my father was my hero. How do you replace your hero? Well, just when you think that can't happen, somebody else steps in. A guy by the name of Jack Christensen. Jack Christensen is in the Section 5 Football Hall of Fame, but he was my high school football coach. Taught lessons, My next thing was, after I got done grieving, was not, why did this happen? Or why did this happen to me? It was, how do I help it? How do I help my mom? Okay? How do I react? And that was taught to me by my family. I had other friends that came and helped, gave me jobs and did whatever they could do. Again, I never was alone. Now, you can attribute it to whatever you want to attribute it to, but prayer was never important to me more than that time period. I loved going to church. I loved going to Mount Carmel. I think I said it yesterday. I was baptized, First Communion, confirmation, and got married in the same church. That doesn't happen a lot. I never asked, why did this happen? I only asked, what do I do next? And the answer was, trust in God. My parents taught me that. Another situation. You have to excuse my voice, I'm sorry. I'm not used to this. 1994, my wife gets colon cancer. Because of the things that I've been through, because of the things that she's been through, we just, let's go. We got to do it. We did what we had to do. We didn't say why. We said, let's pray how to get through this. And we did. And she's very healthy, very happy, aside from when I come home. But one of the lights that shined through was my father-in-law, Frank Pavia, who is probably one of the most positive human beings I've ever met in my life. And we would constantly talk about God's plan for people. You've got to trust his plan. Again, I wasn't alone. We never left God's side. He walked with us. There's no question about it. But once again, we found people who helped us do what's next. 2003, my mom, who I'd been caring for, has Alzheimer's. Huge battle. Because now you go from them taking care of you to you taking care of them. And I had to take stuff away from her. And it killed me, crushed me as an adult. When, Mom, I can't let you drive the car anymore. Or I have to take the bank account from you. Broke my heart. But my mom and I would pray together every night. And she would ask God to not make a burden for me. But it was time for me to walk by her, which was a different example. And that's what I did. And I walked by her. But she'd have some lucid moments. Like I'd go visit her and she'd go, shouldn't you be at practice? I'd be like, Mom, how do you know this? You know, it's just kind of funny. At this point, I have to talk about my relationship with the Bates family. Because it's been going on for about 40 years. Yeah. 12 years old, playing Little League baseball, high school football against each other. And when that guy was born. But God brings people into your life that he feels will be connected to you and help you. And you can help them. And they work together. Dan Bates and I have known each other forever. Pops Bates, too. And, you know, in 2013, when Coach was the head coach, he asked me to come here. And I loved it. I didn't want to leave. I loved coaching here. I loved the Ignatian way. I loved everything about it. When I was younger and I got out of college, I wanted to teach at a Catholic school, private school. And a gentleman by the name of Nick Tita told me, Gary, don't do that. Right now, you should go public because the retirement and stuff is better. I did that. But I kind of always regretted it because this is what I wanted. So my dream has come true. How many people get to say that? My dream came true. You don't understand how honored and lucky I feel to be here. And maybe I don't portray that, but I believe that. After that season, I was asked to carry out a mission at the school where I teach. And I carried that out. And I wasn't really happy about it, but I felt I needed to do it. But I brought the Ignatian way of caring for young men with me. In 2017, I had told Albion I don't want to be the head coach anymore, and I'm looking to retire in a couple of years. And I contacted Coach Bates and I said, I would like, if you have an opening, I would like to coach with you. Talked to Coach Thomas, Matt Thomas, and he knew I loved it here because we would talk all the time. And I have a lot of respect for him, and he made it happen. In 2017, Coach Bates asked me to coach with him. Thank God. Thank God. Kind of that same year is when I got to meet Mr. Baber. And Mr. Baber uttered the words that I was hoping somebody would say eventually. If you retire from Albion and we have something at McQuaid, maybe we'll talk. And it just lit me up with that possibility. Who would have thought? So it's, again, God puts people in your life to walk with. Don't be afraid to walk with them. A lot of people know this already in this room. In 2018, I heard the words that a lot of people don't want to hear. And you can react to it different ways. Mr. Parisi, you have cancer. I went through intense radiation, chemotherapy, but once again, I never felt alone. I had a tree of people, and when I mean a tree of people who would take me to appointments, take me to radiation, take me to chemo. At one point, I was in the hospital for about a month, and I'm sleeping. I opened my eyes one day, I looked to my left. Who's sitting next to me? That guy. Coach Bates. He said, you want to talk about slam protection? But that's what I'm talking about. Surrounding yourself with people that are always going to be there for you. I had players and parents texting me. That didn't happen anywhere else. I had parents texting me, telling me, we're bringing food to your house. Guys, that doesn't happen places. An event took place. I'm not a real emotional guy as far as tears and stuff like that. So I get out of the hospital. Coach Bates goes, come to the weight room. I go, I'll try, Coach. I was 170 pounds. I was born at 170 pounds. So I come down to the weight room and I'm walking around. Coach Bates says to me, you notice what the kids have around their wrists? I say, yeah, what's all those yellow bands? He goes, just take a look at it. So I look. Now, at this point, there's like 50 kids in the weight room. And I look, and it says, fight like Parisi. And I lost it because I don't think of myself in that way. I had to leave the weight room because I broke down. Because at that point, and much before this, I had never thought of myself in that way, and that anyone would care enough. I didn't ask for any of this. It just happens. This is the way I am. I think the kids will tell you that, like, I think. They know I care, but I love it because I get love in return. I don't walk alone because I'm here. I don't have any bad thoughts about what's happened to me on this paper because I don't walk alone. I got an army. This is the place I come to when I need a friend. It's my happy place. I don't walk alone in the world. Only people that choose to walk alone walk alone. And you should never choose to walk alone. God is watching. He'll walk with you through whatever means possible and through whatever forms possible. To sum up, this is what I mean. I'm walking down the hallway one day a couple months ago. Just got done with an immunotherapy treatment, which I'm done with. I always try and be upbeat. Don't let people know. I must have shown. I know Miss Mabellis saw me and she's like, your color doesn't look too good. And I said, I'm fine. And all of a sudden, that guy, if you stand up. Is Jacob here? Jacob, come here. Come here. They're walking like this. And this is what happens. He just hugs me. Like this. How did you know? How did you know? That doesn't happen anywhere. You can't tell me that God didn't tell you to do that. That's the way I think. Thank you. Just that love that comes off that. Then the best part, I go in my classroom. Sam Tarnowski, same thing. Jimmy Clanton, same thing. Giving you a hug. How do you guys know? I believe that comes from God. I do. I love those hugs. I'm not afraid to say I love you. I know that. I truly believe in my heart. God has been walking at my side in one form or another my entire life. And he can walk with you as well. I love being a McQuaid Knight. I want you to do me one favor, if I could leave this with you. Look around from time to time, okay? Because God is there. He's walking with you. He's watching you. Trust in him. Don't ask why things happen. Ask, how can I help me through it? That's all. I want you to know one thing. Even though I shared some things with you today that most people don't know about me, and they're not real great things, I have a great life. I do. I work in a great place. I have great family and friends. I work with great students in an elite learning community, and I coach a great football team. I love my life. And even through all of this, I don't regret anything because he's walking with me. So, again, thank you for this honor. I hope you understand where God stands in my life. And I hope this made sense. I don't know. But thank you so much for today.